What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today's project, we'll be working on this leaf blower. It's a 25cc. Not sure what brand it is. Let's see if we can find some stickers on it. Use Craftsman oil. Yeah, it looks like it's a Sears, made in the USA. You know it's gonna run. Made in 2001. Yeah, Sears. So Sears, Craftsman, whatever it is, we're gonna tear into it. I got it for free from a buddy. They've just been having it in their shop collecting dust. They've never been able to get it running or started, so let's tear into it and see what we can do. Alright, so first things first, let's just go ahead and do a spark and compression test. We'll pull the plug, squirt some 40-to-1 in there, and we'll put the plug back in, try firing it up. If it does fire up, that means we have spark, and if it fires up, that means we have compression. So let's see what happens here. Let's leave the choke off, open the throttle a little bit. Alright, I say our spark is good and our compression's good. Sounded okay, so let's put some fuel in it. It's bone dry right now, and let's see if we can at least prime the carb and see what happens. Alright, we should be able to prime it, and we'll see fuel in here. Yeah, nothing's happening. So there's a diaphragm behind here. Usually with these old machines, that rubber gets super hard and doesn't allow the diaphragm to work properly, so that's probably an issue there, or there's a fuel hose disconnected. So let's go ahead, start taking this apart and see what's causing this issue. Alright, so the next thing I'd really check would be these fuel hoses. They don't seem to be dry or cracking, so that's good. Let's go ahead and remove them here. Oh, it's on there. I'll go grab some. Whoa. So yeah, there's fuel coming out of the hose, so next thing I was going to check is the hose to see if there's any damage, you know, that can be cracked, and if that's the case, that would be an issue there. But good way to tell, if you blow air in here, and we should get fuel out of here. Yep, our hoses are totally fine. Alright, so we've got the carburetor off. Next thing I would check is the primer bulb to make sure there's no cracks or anything, but this one's good. And as you press this in, there's a passageway in the center and a check valve. So it'll shoot air this way, but it won't allow it to come back. When the primer bulb comes up, that suction, there's another passageway, and that suction happens on this port. So this one pushes air out, and then when the primer bulb goes like that, this one creates suction. Then eventually it'll get fuel into the primer bulb, and then it'll return it back to the tank. So let's start taking this apart and see what the diaphragms look like. So yeah, you can see the two ports here, one for positive pressure and then one for vacuum. So this diaphragm, it pushes in, pushes out, pushes in, pushes out, and there's little ports right here that allows the air to go forward and back, forward and back. When the piston goes up, it creates positive pressure. When the piston comes down, it creates negative pressure. And when your engine's running, that's how the fuel pump operates. Let's take off the other diaphragm. This one is called the metering diaphragm. It allows fuel to go past the needle valve. So as there's a suction in here, this diaphragm pushes down right on here, and you can see that little tiny needle valve open up, and it allows fuel to enter this area. Alright, so just looking at the diaphragms here, just feels like hard paper. This is definitely, I think, part of our problem. And then this one's more of a plastic. These normally don't go bad. I mean, eventually they will and they can crack, but this one looks totally fine. Alright, so ideally what you would do is, just buy a diaphragm kit and replace these, put it back together and call it a day. But some of these older machines, these are discontinued and they don't make parts for it anymore. So if you guys ever encounter a situation like that, what you can do is take .3 brake fluid, .4, really any brake fluid, and put it in a little jar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. This one probably not going to do anything, but I'll throw it in there anyways. And we'll push those down and have it sitting there for a couple of days, up to a week, and we'll come back and I think they'll be more back to life and gain some of their rubberness back. And we'll put it back together and see if it helps at all. Alright, fast forward a couple days. I put this in here on the 17th and it's now the 21st, so it's been 4 days. Let's pull these out of here and see how they look. Alright, let's dry it off a little bit. So it feels a little more rubbery. Nothing crazy, but yeah, I'm curious to see if it's helped. So let's put all this back together and try it out. Alright, let's go ahead and put this carb back on. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if those diaphragms came back to life any. I hear something. Well, that is pretty cool. That was the first time I tried that, so glad that worked. Let's see if it'll fire up. Let's see what happens here. Let's go ahead and put this back on. Give it about half throttle. And let's go full choke. I'm gonna go a couple more primes. All right, what do you guys think? First pull? I'm gonna go with 2 pulls. Nope. Let's go half choke. Should be able to rev it up. And what's also cool about the diaphragm type carburetor is that you can run this in any direction for the most part. As long as there's fuel getting picked up in this hose down here, you can run it pretty much in any direction. You know, compared to a float bowl carburetor, those you can only run in vertical. Alright, let's rev it up. So I think there's still some adjustments that need. There's a high and low screw in there, so we might have to adjust that a little bit. But for the most part, glad it's running. All right, I'm gonna see if I can adjust the high-low and see if we can get it to rev up at all. I'd say she's running pretty good. I got the high-low dialed in for the most part. At least it revs up a little higher now, but yeah, if you learned something, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Next week we'll be digging more into the Lawn Chief. I'll be doing a part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link that here. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you later.